All right, traders, George here. Time for a look at the week ahead. I'm looking at three key things for this short week after Labor Day today. Apple, the Euro, and the Nasdaq futures. So starting out here is Apple. I mentioned 104s to 106s as a zone to watch, hitting that uptrend channel line. Also at an area where we have a 1-to-1 harmonic coming to fruition, just a couple cents away from that. We've got a new balance beam here, about $100, and a lot of trading commitment around 93s to about 95s. On any pullback into this zone, this would be a great buying opportunity. If we start trading below the low that we had here at about $90, $78 is the next stop below. However, this is just screaming for more upside. I also mentioned 115 to 117 is a real key upside target. It still is, but I'm adding these three, 125, 139s, and 157s. 157 gets a green ellipse, which means it's extra hot. This is outer space for Apple. It's never been there. And as it starts to trade up into this new territory, watch how price treats these areas. In a real good bull trend, what you'll see is these forecasted price points will typically prove out to be a resistance point. So we drive up to 115s, we fade back, we find support somewhere, we drive up, and then these guys become the new resistance points. And maybe they pull back and find support at 115s and so on. So the traders tend to resonate at these calculated areas, and that's what I've got for upside targets. So really this is a story about buy all dips until further notice, buy all breakouts until further notice. Watch out for the 115 to 117 zone if you happen to be long moving up to that area. Also, likewise for the 157s, any pullbacks down into the lower 90s, big time buying opportunity. Any weakness in Apple, a great chance to look for out of the money call options at any one of these strikes here. But that's the basic story for Apple. This is the earlier video setup that I showed you with price at 33.63s and really looking for it to fill through this air pocket, giving a nod to 32.85s, but really below that, open territory down to about 31.35s. And as you can see right now, we are at 31.21. So we hit the top line here, 31.35s, and we're now driving into a more substantial balance beam. We've actually cracked the ceiling here. We're driving into the spike. However, if you look at this chart here, you don't see that because that came from greater than 85 days ago. So for the most recent trading activity, the euro is below all the recent trading commitment. It's at new structure lows right now. So there's a very good chance it'll hit 30.70s here. If it starts to find some early support here and starts trading above the 31.50s or so, it's going to be on top of that spike that we saw in that older chart, and that could have it bouncing into the zone, really playing back through this air pocket here. So if you happen to be short, get your stops down, okay, because we're at the ceiling of a key balance beam, just so that that is re-emphasized. The 31.35s come in right about here. Here's 30.70. Below 30.70, we could actually see it press down a bit lower. 29.50s, edge of the cliff for the euro. Below that, big unwind, and I'll address that if that occurs. But this is already a real big move here through this air pocket. In just a couple of weeks here, driving down that much, that's about 225 pips or so. At $12.50 a pip, that's some good money, very quick, and really all due to this air pocket here. So no news, no fundamentals, no other charts, just simply price, the balance beam, and well, there you have it. So that's the deal with the euro. Really at a key target right now, and it could be driving lower. If it gets below 30.70, watch for an acceleration. Alrighty, and then lastly, I'll have to redo and clean up this chart in the live room tomorrow, but let me poke over to the Nasdaq futures right now. So the last time I showed this chart, this 40-30 zone here was one I said to watch for price to show weakness there, which would then likely drive it through. Price didn't break below it, and it claimed the top end there, formed a new balance beam here in the 40.70s, found a couple support swings off of that area, and at new structure highs here as of Friday and into Globex here. Trading over this top line here, it's nothing but upside for the Nasdaq. So if it starts to trade below this price point here, which is a move down got to give respect to that one spike that just set up there. But below that, it really opens up quite a bit. And this is what a short would look like, big picture for the Nasdaq. It would show a little bit of weakness here. It actually gets it below 40.60 there. So you've got about a 20-point run to this next beam here, but below that, that's where the air pocket really opens up, and you got another 40, 50, 60 points there. And if it starts trading below this ceiling here, you've got to take notice of that, but really the big attraction would be to get down here. However, that would take a lot of doing, and there's just a lot of commitment at these upper levels here. These just happened, and they're already pretty substantial. So certainly are extended. We're at some perfectly resonant price points for the market to turn, especially the S&P hitting 2005.04 in the cash. But don't even think about a crash until there's something more disruptive happening with price. Really, that 3,800 level is still key for the Nasdaq. We could drop all that way. Here's the dominator. That's where the heaviest commitment is, and we're north of that. So that's always a bullish sign there, especially when you start building new commitment zones up here at the top. So it's just simply a matter of watching these areas here to see if they give way or not. And if we don't, then here are a couple of price points to watch to the upside. With the Nasdaq continuing to show strength and rally, the 4140s and the 42 20s to 30s. Those are the two most important price points north of where we are right now. And a slight nod goes to 4070 and 4167s there with the fib support and resistance tool that's part of this balance beam here. But some other key ratios, confluence between the 1.27 and the 618 of drive 1 and drive 2, and then the 100 with the 618. Pretty vacuum tight there for big picture work. Looking for more upside here. Nasdaq, Apple, looking for a potential bounce in the euro or a drive lower. That's it for now. We'll see you back in the live room.